Dewar's 15, 40% ABV, the Monarch. Is it good to be the king? Let's find out. What is up?
Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies.
4 guys on a Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch purchase. It's probably going to be one of these, maybe. We'll
Gold
see.
box. Gold box.
For the price, probably.
I would think.
Dude,
Yeah.
So you guys picked this up for $45. This is a Dewar's 15-year-old, the Monarch, available in almost all U.S. markets.
Actually, it's,
Amazing.
as far as U.S. markets, it's the most sales, right? Dewar sells the most blend in the United States.
Beat that.
Dewar's.
I'm pleasantly surprised by this one with just the packaging and the marketing. For $45, it's nicer than you would think it
This is
would be.
neck pour, so we need to be careful.
This is there's a lot.
You know
to
what I
this.
mean?
Yeah.
A gold tin kind of stamped box.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's flimsy either. It's nice.
So, Dewar's though, what's their range? What's their core?
So their core is right now they have the white label. They have the why don't you pour that because I'm spilling.
You got it.
The 12-year, the 15-year-old, the 18-year-old. They've also got some double barrel or doubles they call them.
Double
where they've
doubles.
done some special barreling and with those. They also have a couple of another non-age that have been awarded pretty high recently. The Illegal Smooth, which is put in mezcal casks that I've heard good things about.
Interesting.
And they also have a Caribbean
Right.
Rum finish.
Rum finish. So
So
they've
you-
got a huge selection of bottles.
So what cracks me up about the whole mezcal thing, that just became available within the last year.
Right.
So
Because it wasn't legal.
right, obviously they knew this was coming, or they had
Yeah.
some sitting in a barrel waiting for it to happen, if it ever was.
37-year-old Dewar's mezcal finish.
Well, again,
Sit around.
it's mezcal finish for one,
Right.
and I'm sure the Scotch Whisky Association doesn't make a decision on that immediately.
Right.
They've probably been talking about this for years. So Dewar's was like, we'll take a few barrels, put them in mezcal just in case. Just in
I
case.
wouldn't think that they'd have to let it sit in mezcal for very long.
So this particular one though
It's true Scotch.
is True Scotch, the Monarch. It's
Yep.
actually the first whiskey blend from their master blender, right? When
Yep.
she came on board, this was her first creation.
And Stephanie
McLeod.
McLeod, yeah. She so she's been master blender for like 13 years now, and I don't know when this first released, but I remember 12, and I haven't had the 15 yet, so it's gonna be interesting. to try it.
Consequently, she was just named Master Blender of the Year in the Whiskey
Yes.
International competition. So congrats to her.
Well, Dewar's is no, surprise to the market. They've been around forever. The 15 is a newer bottle from them, but they pretty much own the market in the blends.
Yeah.
And for $45, this is going to be really interesting for a 15-year-old.
It's
You're right,
I mean,
it
just
is.
reading the back label of what they did, it should be interesting to try it. I
Yep.
mean, it's got a nice, pleasant nose.
Yeah. So tell me what's unique about this guy?
Well, so one thing is this is a blend of a bunch. They say up to 40 whiskeys. Who knows? They maybe have 17 in there one year and 40 the next. But different whiskeys, grain, a malt, and then what they do is when they get the blend together, then they put it in they put it in oak casks to kind of help it marry for a little bit. Now they don't tell you exactly how long.
They say vintage oak. So
well,
I'm guessing
and
they're
heavily
spent.
charred too. They've been heavily charred to kind of mellow everything out, pull some of that grain out and that kind of thing.
It's got a really woody nose.
So I'm getting apples on the nose,
Mm-hmm.
pears. I don't know about pears, but
It's surprisingly malty on the palate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a blend, because you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mix of malt and grain, and sometimes you get those, and it's a lot more grain than malt, and it's a much lighter whiskey. And this has actually got a nice malty character to it.
Well, they were married, the grain and the malt, according to the can here. And
Was there a ceremony? or-
it says it's a perfect harmony.
Fair enough.
perfect, really?
That's
The
what it
marketing
says.
says it's perfect. All right.
What do
So
you
let's
guys
go back
get?
to the nose on that. So after I've had a sip,
I smell some grain.
It kind of has like a Honey Nut Cheerios smell to it.
I get a hint of marzipan in there.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Marzipan.
just a little bit. And I don't say that every time, but there's a subtle nutty almondy quality to it.
Oats.
Yep.
40 ABV, boys.
yeah, so it's low.
It's got some nice spice on the palate though. Not over the top, but enough to make it interesting.
Up front's nice. Semi-sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, rolling back into a maltiness. Oh my goodness.
They clearly didn't use like new casks here. These are a little bit. There's not a lot of wood influence here. I'm not getting a lot. My guess is the wood that they have is just from that finishing, primarily.
I get some nice. I don't get a whole lot of. I'm with you. Not a ton of barrel influence, but I do get some nice vanilla up front with the sweet notes, and then it kind of rolls back into that spicy character that it's got. Just a little bit on the spice, but it's nice enough to accentuate everything and make it flow.
It's got a hint of sherry in the finish too.
Yeah, I agree.
It's got a little bit of sherry casks,
Yeah.
but they don't really tell you. They don't give you a lot of information
No,
about how much, what they're doing. But
And it's
nice.
40 ABV and a blend. We know it's got color. We know it's been chill filtered, all that good stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I absolutely.
has to.
I will say at 40 ABV, it's got a nice bold.
It's quite pleasant. I mean,
Yeah.
this is one you can absolutely drink neat.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of blends, you say, they're really better designed for mixing in a cocktail. And this one, it would go fine in a cocktail. I think there's probably enough flavor there, but I don't think it needs to. This would be a great, like on a boat. It's a light, throw a rock in there, sit on the boat, drinking a scotch on the rocks or something.
It's a little peppery, little. I think it's a little rough around the edges a little bit.
Rough?
Just a little bit. It needs maybe some water will help a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to take the ABV down too much, but
I think it'll hold water okay.
it's got a pretty good flavor to it.
It's got enough on the palate that I think that it'll be all right. I'm going to let it sit for just a little bit, and
I'll say it's pleasant. I wouldn't say it's definitely nothing to write home about. It's nothing that wows you. There's no deep fruits. There's no, definitely no peat. I'm not getting any peat in it. It's a light. It's designed to be a light scotch, a light whiskey, a bright, young, fresh kind of fruity whiskey. So I think that's what you have
Bright,
there.
for sure. Bright's a good
Yeah.
word.
yeah.
I like that. I'm not sure about fruity.
Yeah, I'm not getting a fruity. The nose, I get a little bit of butter. I get some oat. Might have just overwatered the heck out of that.
That water did help. It added a graham cracker
That
That'd be
good.
nice.
to it.
That would be nice.
That
Did
actually
it
was
change
really
the
nice.
nose? Or?
Not particularly.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say granola, but
Okay. Some
like it's got the
grainy-
honey and some
Yeah.
of that like oat thing going on, and the spices are good still. Like it held up
it
to
is
the
more
water.
oaty than graham cracker. I'd agree. When I said graham cracker, I don't. It popped in my head, but I don't think it was exactly right. But oatiness is
But-
probably better.
But it does have a
honey.
graham
Yeah.
cracker quality to it,
Yeah.
whether it's oats or
I'm-
honey oats. And,
I'm thinking like when I eat a graham cracker, like a honey and
Yeah.
grainy kind
Yeah.
of thing going on, and yeah, that's
that's exactly what
That's
that
kinda
is
what
to
I
me.
get it
That
out of
finish
it.
is honey and
but
grainy.
not like grain whiskey grainy.
no,
No,
like
Oats and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, for a second, I got a little bit of a lemon in it. But I gotta be honest, man, my allergies are killing me. I have all nasally and stuff, so
I didn't get much. I mean, you said apples. I'll give the apple aspect to the nose, but other than that, the nose isn't doing hardly anything.
It's a light sherry. I don't know. Yeah, so what they do is they take all of the whiskeys that go into this. They're in everything. They're bourbon casks, they're sherry casks. They're whatever's available. Granted, when you look up Dewar's distillery, the core is Aberfeldy. That's kind of their core
Oh, really?
supplier. So
Okay.
now that doesn't mean that the bulk of their material comes from Aberfeldy, because Bacardi, who owns all these, they also own Craigellachie and what is it? I wrote it down because I knew I was going to forget. Altmore, Aberfeldy, and so they've got lots of sources to whiskey from
course they
all
do.
over.
Well,
all
I mean,
over.
it kind of feels like that. You can tell there's little influences of different things going on here. It's like that to me. I think it's okay. I guess I could go ahead and start if you guys are ready.
Sure.
So Dewar's 15, 40 ABV, $45. It's not bad for a 15-year-old. The price, absolutely great. It's fantastic for the price of a 15-year-old. But it's a blended with who knows what's going on with it. Nose is very light, very honey, if you will, but not much going on. I had to dig for the apples a little bit, you mentioned, but then when I added water to it, it's pretty much hardly anything going on the nose. But I will say, neat, the palate was pretty strong, pretty malty in the finish, a little upfront sweetness, rolled back to nice malty, almost semi-grainy, if you will. But I think the water actually did influence the flavor. Mm-hmm. I like it better with the water than neat. And I did get a lot more of the oats and honey out of it. And it's good, but to me, it's a little too much pepper, a little edgy. And it sounds, you mentioned bright. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just not really settling nice for me. So I'm going to ding a little bit for the flavor profile. I mean, I think it's a pleasant dram. And this one's hard for me because I'm trying to really justify the taste here and the price. And the price is really helping it, I think.
Yeah,
so
it does.
I think that I think I'm going to go right at an even 2. Because I think for the price, you can't go wrong with it, and it is a 15-year-old. However, I would personally have monkey shoulder or even the naked grouse over this.
Yeah.
Personally, so I'm gonna go 2.
Yeah, and those are blended malts.
That's true.
It's
It's true. It's a little different.
Those are blended malts at a lower price point. So.
And NAS.
Yeah.
And enhanced.
I kind of like this glass. You never know when you get into blended scotches if they're going to go heavy on the grain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, $45, and obviously they spent some money on some marketing, right? You got this tin box to pay for. I mean, the bottle itself is nice. I mean, they made it look like a nice bottle.
Yeah.
$45, pretty affordable. 15 years, so every grain or malt whiskey in here is at least 15 years old. On the palate, on the nose, initially neat. I liked it. It had enough going on. You know, sometimes you get blended whiskeys and you're like, I don't really smell anything. But this had a nice, pleasant nose. There was nothing off-putting about it. The palate was nice. You know, I like the fact that it seemed like it was fairly well put together. I mean, there wasn't like anything disjointed about it. The whiskey made sense as you drank it. You know, everything seemed to flow very nicely. The water, I think, it didn't hurt it. I don't necessarily think that I got anything out of it with the water that I didn't get before. But it did hold the water. So that tells me if you are a Scotch drinker that drinks it on the rocks or with a little bit of water or some soda, that this is going to hold up. You're still going to have a nice drink when you do it. I poured a little bit more neat back in just because I wanted to kind of explore that a little bit more. The spices, and this may just be me tonight, but the spice is just a little bit heavy for me right now. I don't think that it's off-putting in any way, but it's just a little bit heavy. I'm in between like a 2.5 and a 3, honestly. I think I'm going to go with a 3. I like this glass. I mean, I've already had basically 2 glasses while we've been sitting here kind of talking, and at $45 I can afford to pour 2 glasses.
Absolutely,
so
sure.
I'm going to go with a 3. I think it's a nice, easy drinking whiskey. I don't have any problems with it. What you got, man?
Right now, if I just had to throw out a number, I'm right there in the middle. Right, I withdrew on a 2. I got all kinds of different things with and without water. To be honest with you, when it was neat on the nose, I got a little bit of butter and oat. And for a half a second, I thought I smelled some lemon in there, way back there. Put some water on it, and to be honest with you, it brought the malt out for me on the nose. I was like, oh, nice, because neat, it was a little grainy. On the palate, not much. Honestly, there was nothing in there that just said, hey, I'm here, right? I didn't get any flavors that just popped out, right? There was a long, spicier finish. That stayed with me for a little while. I think I actually preferred it with water, which at a 40% ABV is kind of weird for me to say, but it's a very smooth drink with water, and I think the water brought a little bit more of that malt out, which I liked. But it's not, there's nothing else to really talk about, right? I'll drink it. There's nothing off-putting at all. There's just nothing that says, hey, come back and get another glass. But for $45, no one's going to turn this away. No one's going to take a sip of this and be like, oh, I can't, you know what I mean? So maybe it's a good entry for somebody that doesn't really know much about Scotch, and let's start with this, because there's nothing that's going to punch you in the nose here. It's pretty approachable, that's for sure. Yep. And for $45, I can't complain. So I'm going to give it a 2, because I'm going to drink it, but I'm not like gonna wake up tomorrow and say, man, I want a glass of that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think this is a definitely an approachable whiskey. I think it's definitely worth the price. It is nothing to write home about. It's nothing that you brag about having, but you will more than be willing to share. So that's where I'm kind of in the 2.0 range on this one as well. And the reason, if I remember right, and I don't remember, I think we reviewed the Dewar's 12. I did not look up our ratings, but I think this is lighter and not as bold as the 12. I think that's by design, but this doesn't have as much meat to it. I don't think. I know. You go back and review our review on it. I may be completely off on this, but this seems like lighter. It's not as bold and as I typically like in a whiskey. Mm-hmm. So a 2 is a good. It's like you all said, very approachable. Share it with friends. You can afford to do that. You want to do it. You can put rocks on it. You can put it in a cocktail. You can do whatever you want with it because it's priced right.
I'm going to add to that. I'm going to stay with my number, but I will say that I was pleasantly surprised as you guys were talking. There's now more of a sherry finish that I didn't get before at the very tail end, which was nice. A little semi-sweet.
Oh, I got apples on the sip after when Mark was talking. I took a sip and got apples on there. We'll see how you guys feel on Thursday when we talk about it.
Absolutely.
I actually, and I mean, I've been working this morning. It was hot, so I find this glass refreshing. So that may have something to do with it because I put down two drams, and I mean, it was very nice. So anyway,
so we got 3 2s and 1 3.
2.25. So yeah, that's
all right.
Consequently, those whiskey awards that happened
3
weeks ago, which was, I'm trying to look at the title of the awards, was the International Whiskey Competition. This took third place in Best Blends 12 to 15-year-old category, and first place was a Dewar's 12, the Ancestors.
I think we need to get into the Dewar's some more and have like a little Dewar's shootout maybe, because I don't know. You mentioned it earlier about the 12, and I'm interesting. I don't know Dewar's well enough to have like, is that part of the Dewar's? Because I think that this 15 is decent, but I really can't say that it's better than any other Dewar's because I don't know it well enough.
Yeah, well, I think Dewar's, when we've done head-to-heads before, Dewar's typically comes out as one of the best blends out there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, better than the low-end Johnny Walker blend versus the Johnny Walker Red versus the Dewar's White.
Right.
White wins.
That's
so
true.
those kinds of things. I think their blends tend to be better in each category than maybe some of the other ones. So that would be a great thing to look at.
Well, if you look up all the categories on that competition that just happened 3 weeks ago, Dewar's really swept it.
Oh, really?
Blends. Yeah, I mean, Dewar's is all over. You read it and you're like, are they the only ones that submitted whiskeys?
Anybody else show up?
They took first, second, and third place.
This is a good solid bottle.
Yeah,
I'm
I
happy
think
we
you're
have
right.
it.
I think you're right. I think it's a good
$15
bottle.
it's definitely worth having. And maybe for the person that takes price into account so much, maybe I dinged it a little hard, but
it's not your normal flavor profile.
Yeah.
But blends aren't your normal flavor profile either.
That's
Johnny Black's pretty good.
That's about it.
Why is that? Hey guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you as always. What was the final score again? 2.25.
2.25.
There you go.
We'll see you guys next week and Thursday
Thursday nights.
Lunch.
Cheers.
Cheers.